Remember Optimus Prime? Of course you do. He was that red guy who led the Autobots for a good portion of the 80s Transformers cartoon series. In subsequent series, video games, and the recent live-action movies, some variation of Optimus Prime, even if only in name, has been in charge of the good guys. You probably recall the original Prime as being some kind of epic hero, but friends, I'm here to argue that you're remembering wrong. The voice of Optimus Prime, the incomparable Peter Cullen, is absolutely amazing. It commands the kind of instant respect you'd give your dad or a drill instructor.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
But here's the thing. I went back and reviewed all the episodes of that original series, and a pattern began to emerge. I wasn't really looking for it, but after about episode 20 or so, it became unmistakable. Optimus Prime was a terrible leader. Again and again, he led his troops into certain danger without a clear plan, or placed the human race at risk for the most dubious of reasons. The 80s Marvel Comics version of him was the absolute worst. In issue 24, Megatron got him to agree to plug himself into a video game and fight for some damn thing. Megatron cheats, like bad guys usually do. Optimus realizes he cheated before the story ends, and he still agrees to be executed, as per the terms of their agreement, over a video game. But my area of expertise, if you can call it that, is the original 98 episodes in the movie, so that's where I'll concentrate my argument. Often people would wander into episode 40 of my reviews and give me crap from my anti-Optimus standpoint, having missed the preceding 39 examples I'd laid out thus far. So I'm going to lay them all out here for you now, in one place. Here now are the 10 most egregious examples of Optimus Prime's idiocy. Megatron reprograms the Autobots' recharging chambers, turning them evil. They go on a rampage and smash up a whole bunch of jets before Spike and Sparkplug, their human friends, work out what's gone wrong and save the day. Then Optimus Prime orders them to clean up the mess the Autobots made when they went evil. The Autobots decide to place the brain of Spike, who's been injured, into a horrible robot Frankenstein. Naturally, it goes horribly wrong, because that's what always happens when anyone tries this kind of thing. Yet, Optimus Prime signed off on this horrible idea without hesitation. Now, I'm trying to limit these to things he specifically did himself, not just the ridiculous things that happened under his watch, but this one demanded special mention. Following the events of the 3-part pilot, Optimus assumes his old nemeses, the Decepticons, are dead. When he discovers that they aren't, he sends the weakest Autobot, Bumblebee, and the fragile human child to investigate. He does this again in episode 24, Atlantis Arise, when Wheeljack is kidnapped by fish people. I didn't think that merited a separate entry, but it deserves mention. In this episode, new engineer character Grapple approaches Prime with plans to build a solar generator. Prime turns him down in fear of the Decepticons stealing the thing, then resumes playing basketball with Spike. 1 week later, he seems to have absolutely no problem with Wheeljack building the Negavator, which can pretty much only be used as a weapon. But Wheeljack's been on the team for a year to this point. In other words, Optimus changes the rules when his favorites are involved. He makes Silverbolt, the one who's scared of heights, leader of the new Autobot jet team, the Aerial Bots. What the hell? In this episode, we get a flashback in which it's revealed that Optimus left behind his girlfriend, Elita 1, when he departed for Earth. He promises her that he'll come back for her, but in 4 million years he never has. He runs into her once in this episode, since she was placed directly in danger, but then he never calls her again, and he returns to the planet at least twice subsequently.
This meteorite may contain energies unknown even to Autobot science. We must analyze a fragment at once.
This episode is also when I realized the Autobots outnumbered the Decepticons 2-1, and the best Prime could ever manage was a stalemate. Perceptor is the centerpiece of what everyone, including Optimus, knows is a trap, and the big dumb guy leads every single Autobot into it anyway. Then they become infected with an incurable disease that they knew they were going to get. Megatron forces Optimus to activate the third of 3 pylons to his doomsday weapon, based on the logic that the entire population of Earth is worth sacrificing to save lives on Cybertron. Mind you, we've seen Cybertron to be mostly barren at this point, but even if it's swarming with robots, Prime has basically chosen his own race over the humans here. That's not very noble. Here's the crown jewel of my argument. Prime and the Autobots leave the Earth, leading to the enslavement of the human race, based on one single flimsy piece of forged evidence. He doesn't even try to defend them. He just agrees to leave rather than make waves. Oh, and I didn't only have those 10 examples. Those were just the 10 worst. Here are a few more. Bumblebee and Spike disobey his orders. Wheeljack disobeys his orders. But in the end, he's fine with all this. He's really less of a leader and more of a guy who gives the occasional suggestion that you're free to ignore. Megatron clearly cheats in their gladiatorial fight to the death, obviously displaying abilities that he never had before. Prime has absolutely no idea. He could always do this stuff, right?
Ironhide, Wheeljack, Trailblazer, Autobots, all of you, do not follow him!
There's no Autobot named Trailblazer. It's Trailbreaker, you moron.
There were no Decepticons around, but someone or something must have caused that time warp. Then again, it could have been a freak event.
He's allocated the Autobots limited resources doing things like catching car thieves in New York City. Yeah, never mind that army of evil robots trying to exploit the planet's resources and enslave its population. Car thieves, man! Serious problem! He just watches humans being endangered and doesn't lift a finger to help until he works out what Megatron's intentions are. Now, some people will point to the fact that the leader who succeeded Optimus, the unfortunately named Rodimus Prime, was not very good either. Personally, I like the guy, but I won't argue that he was a great leader. The point of Rodimus was to follow the new guy as he gradually grew into the role. He was in over his head, but he eventually stepped up to the challenge, in perhaps the only real character arc of the entire series. And then as soon as Rodimus realizes that he is good enough to be the leader, in the very next episode, Optimus Prime comes back from the dead and demotes the poor bastard. But don't let my fondness for Rodimus Prime cloud my core argument here. Whether or not you like his successor, Optimus himself was not the iconic hero you remember him being. He was, in fact, an idiot.